First dose could be administered by the middle of this week, and kids could be fully vaccinated by Christmas. All right, it is day 2 for the New York City vaccine mandate. Mayor de Blasio saying yesterday 9,000 workers are now on unpaid leave, while another 12,000 have filed for exemption. 2,300 FDNY firefighters were out sick yesterday. Good morning, I'm Elizabeth Hassig, and welcome to our live special, The New Normal. Now, the pandemic has taken such a serious toll on our children's mental health. So this morning we're delving a little deeper into that topic. Joining us this morning, Dr. Lada McGinn, clinical psychologist, a professor at Yeshiva University, and co-founder of Cognitive and Behavioral Consultants, working with schools and parents regarding social media, especially how it impacts anxiety and depression. Also joining us, pediatrician Dr. Marc Lashley. He provides comprehensive pediatric care as well as treatment for children with mental and behavioral health challenges. So thank you both for joining us. All right, do remember we want to hear from you as well. For the next half hour, we will be answering your questions. So you can submit them right now under the live stream of this show on Facebook. Okay, so we do know that what we're looking at right now has been declared a national emergency. So there's a coalition of the nation's leading experts in pediatric health, and they've issued an urgent warning declaring the mental health crisis among children so dire that it really becomes a national emergency. So we're talking about things like depression, anxiety, and obviously we know, as a country, really globally, we've gone through a collective trauma. So many children dealing with loneliness and with issues. We've seen a recent national poll conducted by the CS Mott Children's Hospital that found 46% of parents reported their teenage child had developed a new or worsening mental health condition since this pandemic began. Girls more prone to anxiety and depression than boys. 3/4 saying their child's ability to interact with friends had suffered. So today we're really going to discuss why this matters, because so many children unfortunately are not able to just bounce back on their own, and experts say they're going to need that additional care, that additional support in their homes, in their schools, in their broader communities. And we know psychologists are reporting increases in the demand for care. We know that right now there are waiting lists at offices, and there had already been a spike in demand before this pandemic even started. And the greatest increase we know is the demand for treatment for depression and anxiety, also these stress-related disorders. And we know about 2/3 of psychologists who were surveyed said they do have these wait lists and that they've only gotten longer, and they really don't have the capacity to handle all of these new patients. We know nearly half of those psychologists say they too are also feeling burned out. So Dr. McGinn, I would love to start with you and just hear your thoughts on this being a national emergency and how do we handle it? Okay, unfortunately, we're having a little audio issue that we've been trying to fix here. But one of the things that I know has been particularly difficult, I'm a mom, I have 2 kids, 13 and 10, has been the social isolation. And particularly, I know that's difficult for teenagers. They're at a stage in their mental development when they're really seeking independence from their parents, right? Companionship from their peers. And for so many kids, so much has been canceled, and so many of those milestones have not been able to be celebrated or reached. I took a look at some of the statistics that came out of New Jersey. And I know that the calls to the New Jersey Children's Mental Health Hotline increased. And what was interesting when I took a look at the numbers was also the timing of when they increased. They said typically it would be October as the month, but they saw it in September. And they also saw this avoidant behavior. This year, the uptick in calls happened 10,000 calls peaking in the morning. And it was particularly on Monday mornings. And it was because children didn't want to go to school. And I think also, obviously school has changed so much from mask wearing and the use of technology in schools and how they're, able to have lunch next to, their friends, sometimes with plastic dividers in between them. Some of the kids still relegated to the classrooms and not able to really socialize during that, break time. So they said a lot of kids are really just out of rhythm, and they're really trying to, get back into that, pre-COVID operating for kids. We know for 8-year-olds, 25% of their lives, this one really struck me when I found this, for 8-year-olds, 25% of their life has been occupied by COVID. And when you look at, my son's in the 5th grade, his last normal year was 2nd grade. So most of, his elementary experience has been spent during COVID times, whether it was completely shut down or hybrid and now still with masks and dividers. So, we also want to discuss today some of the long-term issues, really the developmental period can have such an impact for years to come if we don't address them in the moment. And the moment really is now. So, obviously we know that kids are so connected to social media and also to, texting and FaceTiming and TikToks in my house, also Snapchat. But obviously that's not the same kind of connection. They're not the same type of a face-to-face connection. And, there's also a pressure to social media where kids just constantly feel that they have to put their best selves forward. Sometimes we've also seen, this also evolve into cyberbullying. We know with the release of those Facebook papers and obviously Congress also, delving into this now, but that Instagram, there's body image issues, especially for teenage girls. 1 in 3 teenage girls had body image issues becoming worse. So I think there's a lot of questions too for parents or even, for other caregivers as well of, how do you keep your kids, your teens connected and safe on these social media platforms? And how do you, pull back on how much screen time they have? There's this 2019 survey done that looked at kids between the ages of 12 and 15 and how many hours they were spending on social media. So at the time it was 3 hours a day. I know this morning on our morning show we were talking about kids spending upwards of 9 hours on screens, and that's not counting the amount of time that they're spending for online learning. And I know both of my kids have Chromebooks when they go to school, and much of their school day is also spent on a device while in a physical classroom. So it's not only the times that they're spending on social media, but really in front of a screen and connecting that way. And what are the repercussions of that in terms of anxiety and depression or low self-esteem and poor sleep quality? We also take a look when it comes to Facebook and to Instagram at these algorithms. And we know, taking a look at the data that's out there, that Facebook uses an algorithm to really select the posts that are seen by people that have those algorithms really come under scrutiny by experts, by lawmakers over how they're affecting behavior. And we're looking at the good and bad things that are coming from this. So we're going to continue to take a look. Obviously, we're having a little technical difficulties. That's why you've heard so much from me here. But we're going to try to work those out and continue a conversation when it comes to mental health and our kids. You're watching The New Normal, a special report here on News 12.
Thunderbolt 12 has been all over this island today. We're in your neighborhood.
Out on the roadway, taking us all over the state.
Thunderbolt 12, as we know, very equipped with a lot of cool things. We're able to see all different angles from the cameras inside of our vehicles.
We've been making our way all around the parkways this morning.
We're going to hop back in Thunderbolt. Keep heading to those areas that need some coverage so we can keep you safe.
At News 12, your safety is our top priority.
When dangerous weather heads towards your neighborhood, the News 12 Stormwatch team and Thunderbolt 12 get ahead of the storm so you and your family are prepared.
We also want to keep your neighborhood safe by urging everyone to do all we can to help conquer COVID-19.
Health officials say the vaccine is key to ending the pandemic.
Let's be safe, let's be smart, and let's stop the spread.
You're watching News 12, winner of a record-setting 30 Emmy Awards for excellence in broadcasting.
Discover News 12 New York.
All smiles for our moodcast. We have warm sunshine all throughout our area.
Where exactly will these cannabis retail establishments be allowed?
This bus allows 6 people at a time to come in and get vaccinated.
The first female coach in the NFL.
It's a new way to see the best of News 12's local channels from all across the tri-state area, all in one place. Now streaming 24/7, however you like to watch. Discover News 12 New York today.
News 12, always in your community.
To have News 12 sponsor this backpack event, it's a tremendous help to the community.
News 12, we're here to keep you safe.
It's just as easy as coming to the Vaxmobile here.
News 12, hyper-local forecast you can trust to start your day.
Back to school, back to work, everyone's getting out there.
News 12, always there for you. News 12, local matters.
Well, hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I hear you.
Yes, yes, Elizabeth, you're just amazing. I have to say that was brilliant. I could never do that.
What just happened? I think I need a counseling session right now.
Oh my God, you were brilliant. I just couldn't even fathom. That was very stressful for you. You are fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Just fantastic. Yeah.
For my next. Wow. Okay, so what we're going to do, obviously that was not how that was supposed to go, but we had no audio from either one of you. So we're going to jump right into those questions because I'm not even sure what I said anymore. But there's no sense of going back and revisiting everything we just did. We're going to move forward. So luckily, all of you have the questions. And if there is anything that you want to make sure that we get to, I can definitely get to it at the top here. So
Elizabeth, are you going to talk about the vaccine being released today?
Well, hopefully it will be, yes. Yes.
Because I know that's on everyone's minds.
Oh, it was a global Zoom issue. Please, please, because I feel like I'm I'm embarrassed. Both of you are our first time guests and we had such a problem. Okay.
Wow.
Do we know the time back, anyone? Okay, so we are 1 minute and 40 seconds away. I believe we are on Facebook right now because I believe this was a Zoom meltdown, not a Facebook meltdown. So hello to everybody on Facebook. The reason we didn't hear from our guests is because we had no audio. But I will be a lot quieter in this next section and let the experts actually speak. So I will just reintroduce you both and let me just take a look really quickly. I'm sure most of the comments and questions are, is she gonna ever shut up? So those probably won't be relevant to this conversation. The first one in is from Maria. And she says, my kiddo is more depressed this year. I think he's picking up on his dad and I's feelings. We do our best to hide it from him, but he can tell we're worried a lot. I feel really guilty that he has to grow up in such a scary world. I don't think video games or social media has anything to do with it. I think our nation is more divided than ever, and people aren't showing each other the general kindness that they used to. So, Dr. McGinn, I'm going to give that one to you, okay?
And yeah, I think that's difficult for sure. I think that children do learn from us, and I think acknowledging that things are difficult right now and that you're feeling depressed, helping them see that emotions are not the problem, that it's okay to be reacting to adverse events this way. And you're right, it's not just social media, but it is social media in addition.
Okay, so we are 10 seconds away from the linear program. I'm just going to reset, reintroduce, and jump in. Oop, 3, 2. Welcome back to our live special report. We continue our conversation on mental health in our children. So if you have questions or comments, now's the time to add them under the live stream of this show. Joining us right now, Dr. Lada McGinn. She's a licensed clinical psychologist, a professor at Yeshiva University, and co-founder of Cognitive and Behavioral Consultants. Also joining us, pediatrician, Dr. Marc Lashley. So thank you both for being with us. And I do want to jump right into some of our questions. And we were just talking offline about Maria, but for everyone at home here, let me just read to you what she wrote in. Maria saying, my kiddo is more depressed this year, and I think he's picking up on his dad and I's feelings. We do our best to hide it from him, but he can tell we're worried a lot. I really feel guilty that he has to grow up in such a scary world. I don't think video games or social media has anything to do with it. I think our nation is more divided than ever, and people aren't showing each other the general kindness that they used to, Dr. McGinn.
Yes, all that is true. It is all of those things, and I think it's natural for him to pick up on emotions, and that's okay. Acknowledging that you are anxious and sad, and communicating that this too shall pass, I think are both important. Emotions are completely normal to have, and this way it shows him that it's not a scary thing to feel this way, but he sees that you're optimistic about what can change.
All right, Perrette says mental health in kids has declined because of COVID restrictions. Now they're going to pass a mandate that children should be vaccinated to attend school. How do you think that will affect children when they're pulled out or when they see their friends don't go to school anymore? Over the past year, you can see a sharp decline in children's mental health. Kids are feeling scared, worried, isolated. The focus should be COVID and our young children's mental health. So, there's a lot there to unpack.
Well, I can help you with that, Elizabeth. So first of all, it's not entirely clear that a mandate will be placed. Right now, we're really focusing on educating parents about the vaccine and trying to make them feel safe as much as we can, doing a lot of studies to find out how children are involved in the transmission of COVID, and it doesn't look like they are a major source of transmission. However, it is clear that we need to vaccinate children in order to help control the pandemic. But getting back to what you were talking about earlier about children's mental health decline, we're seeing it in pediatrics. Now, approximately 20% of what we see at Allied Physicians Group is mental health. A lot of the pediatricians have stepped up with extra training and are arranging our schedules to deal with mental health. We have equipped ourselves to deal with this pandemic because I'm sure that Dr. McGinn can tell you that psychologists are now backlogged. It's very hard to get a good psychologist appointment or a child psychiatrist appointment for that matter. And pediatricians have really been taking up the slack.
Sure. Yep. Jason said, my child's mental health has declined since all the COVID restrictions in school. And, just mentioned, they're too young for social media, but that you see it without the social media being, an influence, Dr. McGinn.
Yes, so social media is certainly an influence. I think that their kids have been facing actual dangers, I think, before, it's like school shootings, but then there is social media, which inflates our perception of danger and leads to social contagions and comparisons. We know that kids, experience more body image issues. They experience, there's on TikTok, tics were on the rise as a result. So it's certainly something to take very, very seriously.
Yeah, and Micah says social media has played a toll on everyone's mental health. The world has changed because of social media. Nothing is actually checked and believed by many. So, Dr. Lashley, I'll let you take that one.
Well, I definitely think that social media can be a good thing in that it helps teenagers connect with each other and share with their feelings, but it definitely can be a negative. A lot of cyberbullying goes on social media. It's very important for parents to check in with their children and be attuned to their mental health state. Look for signs of depression and anxiety. Some of the big signs of depression and anxiety are sleeping problems, appetite issues, mood problems, problems performing in school and concentrating, and also a lack of interest in things that they used to enjoy or seem to get less enjoyment out of the things that they used to do. I've had a patient just yesterday who dropped off her soccer team. She was a lead soccer star, and mom noticed right away, hey, why aren't you interested in soccer anymore? And it turned out when she brought her in that teenager was suffering from anxiety and depression that was really not addressed. And it's so important for parents to be in tune with their children and bring them to the doctor when they see that there is an issue.
All right, Jason says, we as adults can control social media. As adults, we send our children to school to learn. It's my opinion the schools and the CDC have destroyed our children. Dr. McGinn, I'll let you take that one.
I think that this is something, I think what he's pointing out is that we're all facing it. As Dr. Lashley said, certainly media and social media is not all bad. There is a important sort of information dissemination that occurs. And I think you as a parent can only control what you can control. So being a good role model and restricting your own use of social media and technology is perhaps the most important thing you can do as a parent.
One viewer wants to give some advice. Her name is Lily, and she says, open questions are important and a great way to approach most situations. I'd also add two other crucial factors: to listen, really listen to the reply. Don't try to fix another person. Let them just talk. Sometimes that's all that we need. Dr. Lashley.
I think that it's very important to listen. And the way we treat younger children, ages 5, 6, 7, is very different than the way we respond to teenagers, right? So younger children want to model their parents' behavior. They want to feel safe. So when a child's younger, a parent has to project calm, even if they don't feel it themselves internally, right?
Sure.
But an older child, really wants to be listened to, treated as a person and with intellect and thoughts. And if you acknowledge what they're feeling and listen, that is the most important thing you can do as a first step.
I think it's interesting too, to that point, Dr. McGinn, the idea that you don't have to try to fix someone.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think this is a technique that we use. It's called validation, which means that you truly understand, try to get into the mind of your child, to hear what they're thinking, and to communicate that you understand, so that they truly get that you know what they're feeling. And if you have that perspective, that location perspective, then that communicates to them that you're not just trying to change them or take something away from them.
We're just in a quick commercial break right now. This is our quick section, which is only 2 minutes. So I just want to see where we are in terms of questions, because I would love to, but we have so many. Okay, yeah. I hate to leave people out. I just also wanted to, no, we have a lot. Okay, never mind. Never mind my idea. Okay. So Tony is saying, as parents and families, we have to be proactive in engaging in verbal communication and interaction. The art of communication skills has taken a back seat to texting and messaging. So maybe, Dr. McGinn, I'll give that one to you. You don't have to answer that right now. But just talking about ways to communicate. I'm sorry, what was that? Okay, in 1 minute. So Henry, if you could put Tony there, and we'll do Tony to Dr. McGinn. And then I'm just looking to see, okay, no, not that. Hold on 1 second. I'm just looking to see if there was a question on the vaccine and talking to our kids that I could use. I'm not sure if anyone, okay, we're 30 seconds away right now. I'm just, people talking about love and positivity.
Yeah, Elizabeth, I received the vaccine this morning.
I'm sorry, say it again?
I received the vaccine this morning.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
So okay, so you know what? We will do Tony's question, Dr. McGinn, and then Mark, I'll go to you just to say what you're going to be talking to parents about in 5 seconds. 4. Welcome back to our live special report. We're continuing our conversation on mental health, and Tony was saying, as parents and families, we have to be proactive in engaging in verbal communication and interaction. The art of communication skills has taken a backseat to texting and messaging, Dr. McGinn.
I'm absolutely correct, Tony. This is absolutely something that has taken a nosedive, and what you can do to encourage children to have these verbal communication skills is important. I know that I have 2 daughters, and I know that my younger daughter, who is 20 now, when she was in her teens, she wouldn't, pick up the phone and call people. So encouraging them to make an appointment, call yourself, I think those are absolutely important.
And Dr. Lashley, I know you were saying you've received the vaccine at your office. Are you having a lot of conversations with parents and their kids about the next steps that are going to happen?
Of course, all day long. We're not supposed to use the vaccine until we get final word from CDC Director Walensky, but we did receive it this morning, so we're very excited. All day long, we talk about the vaccine and parents' personal decision about whether they want to give it to their 5 to 11-year-old. We think it's a very good idea as pediatricians, and we help talk them through ways that they can be more at home and more comfortable with getting it. In a younger child who is afraid of needles, we often talk about giving them more power in decisions, such as which shoulder would you like to get in, and would you like to bring your stuffed animal with you? What Band-Aid would you like to use? What music would you like to listen to try to take away their fear of needles and focus on protecting the child.
All right, thank you both for your time and your expertise this morning. Sorry about those technical difficulties before.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
So we have to do this again when we don't have any issues or problems, please. I'm so sorry. That should not have been your first induction into this show, because it's usually
welcome to live TV, right?
It was it's a great. It was great to see you this way. I was feeling anxious for you, but you handled it so well. I was like, oh my God, I could never do that.